Working with businesses as a consulting firm and as a woman personally, I found that women have struggled in different aspects of business. We have brought together women of different backgrounds, different industries, to share their stories with us so we can learn from each other and really start to decide and decipher how we as individuals and as businesses can choose to challenge the current status quo and bias of women in the country and globally. Okay, so we're going to take one more question now, but I want us to sort of be as brief as possible so we drive home the point, right? So, we're all women, and we're here because, it's International Women's Day month. This is Women's Month. March is Women's Month, and we've all faced. We might have all faced different challenges as women. So, I want you to think back your journey as a businesswoman, as a business owner. Are there certain things that you have faced, particularly because you're a woman, and how were you able to handle that? What would you like to share and that people can learn from? Is the question good?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, whoever wants to start is fine.
Let me go. So, sports industries everywhere in the world is male dominated. And there's no equality. There's no parity. There's no. So most of the time you find that, I'm sure you guys you heard about the US female football team that were like, look, pay us the same thing that you're paying the guys, and it was such a huge thing. And I'm just wondering, these people have even achieved much more than the male football. So why just anyway? But you see, it's been very interesting for me in the sense that over time, I've been used to make up the numbers. I've been used to diversify. So sometimes I then wonder, okay, is it because I'm a woman or is it because of what I know? So, I sit on the board of Lagos State Swimming Association, and we're 5, 6. I'm the only female. And I'm wondering, okay, up until now, I think, it's just been like one female that was recycled, then she moved out and then I came in. And then I'm now wondering, okay, so is this just to really make up the numbers, or is it really to actually, speak to the fact that as a woman, I'm amazing in my field of work? So that those thoughts come up, and then, but I tend not to dwell on it. I'm like, look, I'm there anyway. You will feel my impact. True. Whether I am there because she just felt, okay, look, let's bring in a woman to balance it. Everything, a woman, hey, before we create noise, let's bring in a woman to balance it, or just, to turn things around. So it's very interesting. And then, I also get invited to a lot of things because I'm female in the sports industry. Yeah. So you're like, okay, so I don't want to be the only female doing. So we tend to amplify ourselves. A few ladies that I know that are also in football, gymnastics, and all that, athletics, we tend to amplify ourselves. We're like, you know what, I'm not just the only person in sports. This person is doing sports, and she's doing amazing. So don't just come to us because you're trying to make up the numbers. Come to us because of what we can offer. And if you're not sure of what we can offer, just go and look at our track record. You see what we can or what we do. And sometimes it's almost like, oh, you're so full of it, you're so arrogant, but then hey, it is what it is. So it's very interesting. We don't get blocked as much. We just get maybe a woman, or will you understand what the sports thing is about, or come and make up the numbers. So it's very, very interesting. We don't get blocked from going, you're a woman, okay, but the reasoning behind it, it's still needs to be challenged. To challenge that.
That's very interesting. The reasoning.
Yes,
what's
the reason.
Why?
Yes. Why am I feeling this spot?
Why am I feeling this spot? Okay. All right, Kai.
Okay.
So I'm going to answer the question in a different way, but I'm still going to answer the question. So it was very priceless to me, the fact that I could go on maternity leave and still afford to pay myself a salary. And as a small business owner, however, when I came back and after the lockdown, there was this my staff, Toiba, she's quite hardworking and all that, and she got pregnant. And I mean, because I'm not the one that manages salaries, I have an operations head and all, but I have to approve. I mean, sometimes it's not all the time that I look through every line. Sometimes it's like, see, just approve, let the money get to him so that he can disperse to everybody and all. But I now remembered, I was like, where's Toiba? They're like, oh, she's pregnant and her pregnancy is disturbing her. And I told my operations manager, I said, send her money. I was like, okay, we're in the middle of COVID, we cannot pay her full, but send her money, because our tailors are also on commission, like it's what you produce that you're being paid for. And he looked at me strangely, and I'm like, send her money, like, you know. And it just occurred to me that this is something that there has to be a discussion about, because people don't know how important it is. And especially because I'm very close to reality. I have a lot of small business owners that I mentor, and I know that a lot of them are still struggling with cash. But we need to start the conversation around, no matter how little. If you have a staff that has shown seriousness and dedication to their work before they got married or had a baby, it doesn't cost you anything, no matter how little. Support them. We're all born by a woman. Imagine if while your mom was carrying you, she couldn't afford food, or she couldn't afford good health care, no matter how little, you know. So I would say that is one of the things that I enjoyed. I know it's supposed to be the other way around the question, but so I feel like this is something that we need to start to talk about with small businesses. Don't fire them because they are pregnant. Pregnancy is not a sin. And I mean, very recently, and this one broke my heart, we're hiring new tailors because some left because they wanted increase in pay in the middle of COVID. Nigerian business owners should really clap for themselves, because we are not just going through COVID, we are going through inflation on all sides, you know. So imagine I'm thinking about COVID sales and all my staff. I recently had to increase everybody's salary. I'm not joking. In the middle of COVID. Now it's crazy, and it's just the reality. It's not their fault. It's not because your staff is wicked, you know. So I was trying. We're recruiting new tailors, and there was this girl. I just noticed that she was a bit withdrawn, and I was asking, and I had to ask my manager that what's wrong with her, and he said, she's one of the new recruits, but we found out that she's pregnant. And he was saying it as if, bad news. And I'm like, so what? And I'm like, I want to talk to her. And I went downstairs and I called her. She was scared when I called her, because sometimes because of the number of tailors, sometimes I don't have time to have one-on-one conversations. But I called her separately and she was wondering if she was in trouble. And I was like, I heard you're pregnant. And I was like, relax. I'm like, calm down. Pregnancy is not a sin. And I'm like, and I now give them instructions that, do you think is the chair comfortable for you? I just noticed that she was trying to wrap it around her head. You know, I had a very troublesome pregnancy, so I have a soft spot for pregnant women. So I was like, do you want this? Is this chair okay for you? Do you want something else? I just noticed that she was so, you know, and I'm like, don't worry, just calm down. You know, even when the production head came to complain to me that she's slow, I said, let her walk at her pace. I said, we're not running anywhere. There's COVID anyway. It's not like the sales numbers are as high as what they used to be. Nobody's rushing it, because COVID taught me how to calm down. I don't know about you guys. COVID taught me how to that life is not a race, you know. And I'm like, see, you know what? If all I can do is help one pregnant woman keep her job, I'm fine, you know. And I'm like, see, let her walk at her pace. Don't give her crazy target. Let her walk at her pace. But after 1 week, the girl stopped coming to work. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe she felt bad that she wasn't producing and she couldn't keep up. Despite the fact that I tried to, and she wouldn't answer her phone call, she wouldn't reply. You know, but so I feel like this is a conversation that we need to start. Small businesses, yes, small businesses should be. Some small businesses might need support to be able to support working pregnant. It's easier for big organizations to do, but it's a conversation that we need to have.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. That's a point to note. All right, okay, let's continue to it.
So perhaps, you know, riding from your last statement, you know, even the big businesses, so they're having worked with That's actually one of the reasons why we designed some of the services that we have to support, women like this. Even the large corporates, right? Some people will share their experiences. There are unwritten rules, so you can't even sue the company. But there's a trend that if you get pregnant, would that be cumulative? Back to back. The next appraisal will be appraised out. And it was happening too often to be a coincidence. But you see, again, one also tries to be very objective. You would also ask what the experiences of those organizations have been with pregnant women, or with women, not even just pregnant women. So there's a generalization that women tend to give excuses, or women tend to call out of work, for all sorts, and we need to correct that. It is something. I'm a woman, right, and I'm all for supporting women. So it's interesting that even yesterday team meeting that came up. Now we have resumption time. It's not an excuse to be irresponsible. It's not an excuse to be tacky. So we want a place. We do not just want a place at the table. We want to have that place at the table because we've earned it, not because anybody's doing us a favor. So we're bringing value. Now you would not, what your resumption time is. So a few times you're late and you have valid reasons. But when it becomes a habit, that's the reason, and you keep giving the excuse that your child was sick. That's exactly the reason why certain employers do not bring on women. And that's the reason why we appear to have some spaces that are male dominated. So, and that's why we're having fewer women sitting on boards. So where the assignments are demanding, we do not have women. So I am, looking to get a bigger space to buy or to rent, a bigger space that is 7 digits, right, or 8 digits. Or I'm looking to buy a property, and I sit in front of the property owner, and he says, "I'd like to speak to your husband." No, I am the one you should be speaking to.
True.
Because I'm the one doing the business. So those are the kind of biases that come up in our spaces as business owners, right? Or, so because of the kind of service that I provide, so they expect to see a woman walk through the door, right? Yeah, and then, and that's fine. But again, they now go to, look at your board and see if the makeup of your board includes men. And which is okay, but is it a gender? Are you looking for genders, or you're looking for
efficiency?
Yes, quality people, individuals on the board. Because I know that as growing business owners, and I'm very careful to say growing business owners as against small business owners, because as growing business owners, right, you get to a point where your board, you should have a board. Because of where you're headed, because there are certain organizations that will not talk to you, or you have a board and the board has 3 surnames that are the same. Says it's a family business, and then we begin to associate that with the fact that we're women. Maybe not necessarily so.
It's another angle that we really need to look at it from. Food for thoughts.
Okay, all right. So for me, I will just jump right off what she said about trying to get a property, and I find it so absurd. I come to you and I say that I want to rent this property for my office. Underline the word office, and then you're asking me to bring my husband. What is he? He's working in his own office. What's he doing here? But that happened to me twice. Twice.
They asked me if I was married. I was single when I rented my husband.
That happened to me twice. The first time I took my husband there, I didn't have a choice. But the second time I said no. And the second time, as a matter of fact, I insisted that the landlord will not see me for any reason. Because why are you seeing me? We want to rent the property. You've told us how much. We're willing to pay. Why? Why do you even want to see me, much less see my husband? There's no. The point is, can you pay? Yes, I can pay. And I'm paying. I'm paying up front. And then we sign the document. So what's the conversation about? But you find that things like that happen all the time. Sometimes if you're single, you can't even rent a space for yourself to even live.
So
right? Yeah. And then not just that, setting up the place, as you know, you move into a new space, you're going to do a lot of work, a lot of plumbing, electrical work. And you're talking to this artist and they say, madam, you don't go understand. Why? It's not common sense. There's this light is not coming on. Why is it not coming on? Fix it. Oh, madam, you don't understand. We have to do truncate. Whatever you need to do, fix it. Right? So sometimes they'll say, oh, you don't understand. Now let you day here, like, are you the only person? Like, isn't there a man that we can talk to?
Who else can we speak?
I don't understand.
Those undertones.
Yes. Very
choose to challenge. Yes.
Honestly.
So those are things that we truly we truly choose to, and like you said, choose to challenge, and I want to challenge because it has to change. And also even in the workplace, before I stopped paid employment, I worked somewhere where I had a difficult pregnancy, right? And I had worked there for a year before I became pregnant, but I had a very difficult pregnancy. I kept having preterm contractions and bed rest and all of that, and so I had to stop work for some time before my agreed leave time. And I stopped work, and I mean, it's fine. I was supposed to, my maternity leave should start, I run for 3 months, right? And I'll be paid the leave allowance for that 3 months. But it turned out that because I stopped work and took the leave because I was ill, I now didn't complete the stipulated time to be able to deserve the maternity allowance.
Wow.
Right? I mean, that happened, and well, what do we do now? We keep it pushing. At least they claim that I should be grateful that I still have a job to come back to.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Now I came back to the job, having a newborn. The role, they had switched up the role on me, and I mean, I was a new mom. I was not really ready to start arguing about all these things. Let me just have a job and have a salary at the end of the month. But being a new mom, and these are one of the reasons why I really appreciate what Madam Itoro does, because being a new mom working, and I had to express milk for my daughter, there was zero provision. And when I say zero provision, when I resumed, I used to go into the storeroom where we used to keep documents. It was a room that didn't have window. It was a room that didn't have light. It was dark. And there were rats in the room. And I'll stay there and I'll pop. And in order to, if I have to leave the door open a little bit just so that I'm not very afraid and I can see a bit, then I'll be trying to cover myself, trying to... And after a while, when I realized that, look, I can't deal with this. There was a time I almost jumped out of the room completely naked because of the rats, right? So I decided that, okay, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Let me look for somewhere else. You will never imagine the next space I found. The next place I found was the bathroom.
Yeah, bathroom.
So I used the bathroom. So I used the bathroom for a while, and it was very. How can I be expressing milk and someone is taking a dump and the whole place is smelling?
Yeah.
So from the bathroom, I moved to under the staircase. Not even kitchen, because we didn't have that. I moved to under the staircase.
Seriously, yeah.
So that's like under just a very tiny corner, and I had to buy almost 5 extensions, right? Connect from there to there, connect from there to there. And meanwhile, I only have 1 hour break. And even in this 1 hour break, it's just expected that you do your break on your desk. Just eat and continue.
It's not enough 1 hour normally.
Exactly.
They don't expect you to do that 1 hour.
They don't expect you to do that 1 hour. So already I've spent how many minutes connecting sockets and extension cable from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, to go all the way under the stairs. I was doing this with my friend, and we'll do it because that was the only option available.
Honestly.
So it's. I mean, after so long of what the world now knows about women and women in corporate setting, I mean, come on.
Yeah, we should do better.
do better.
I mean, we should do better, and we need to challenge what we do.
Yeah.
And what that says
you
to
don't
me,
have a huge budget.
and what that says to me is now as an employee, as an employer rather,
Yeah.
how am I making?
Exactly.
And I'm already making, and I'm already thinking about, because majority of my staff, they're female. Even though none of them is married, but I know that they will marry someday. And even though I keep asking them, when are you getting married?
Yeah.
So that I know that
And
at
it's
the back
okay
of my
if you
mind.
can feel like
Exactly,
to be
it's
pregnant.
okay.
It's okay.
And you would feel relaxed being in it. So I would say
Exactly.
that for each of us now, we now need to start implementing our own businesses, right? Even if it's a corner that you put together and say, oh, if it's that time of the month and you just need some time.
Absolutely.
You just need to
we are
see.
available to, in fact, we're going to be offering free advisory to business owners.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you so
that's
much.
We can
Because
it's,
I have a
it's-
pregnant
it's- the
instructor.
least you can do is
Yeah.
just carve out
Just
a
carve out a corner.
for a lactation room.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a full-fledged,
just
high
something.
budget
Just
creche.
something.
And it truly would go a long way.
It will go a long way. It will go a long way.
But my pregnancy doctor, she was asking, because I was discussing with her that, okay, so due and taking maternity leave, and she's like, we are okay. I'm like, you are definitely. I don't even want you here when you've just had your baby. Just go and you need to have your maternity leave.
And
It's
mindset.
important.
So she didn't know. Some people don't even
Yeah,
know that they are
she's not
allowed
even expecting
to,
it.
ask
Yeah.
for certain things. So
Yeah.
we need to now recondition. So there's something that we started to do, making sure that your policies, your company, because even as a small business, I believe personally that if you're running a business, run a business.
Exactly.
Whether
it's
small,
Yes.
medium or
large.
large. If it's not a business, it's okay. But if you decide to run a business, then take it seriously.
Yes.
Have policies, start to set certain things in place so that your female staff, your males, everybody knows, okay, this is what is obtainable here. If you have a little first aid box that has, sanitary
Of
towels,
course.
things that you need for the month, because you'll be surprised what people are going through. They should be able to feel safe in the office. To know that, okay, I need something, I can get this. There's this corner I can sit if I'm feeling a certain way. I feel open enough. There's some form of provision. There's a number I can call. Those things go a long way because some people find so much support at work they don't even find at home.
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure that our organizations are able to give them the right kind of support. I would say that in terms of women, I've seen where people struggle with salary. I sit in interviews, we recruit almost every day. So I find that the same role, a man will walk in and say, 500 or nothing. And then a woman will come in and, real life scenario, she'll be telling you how 120K is, she'll break it down for you. Her transport, how she has children. And you're just looking and saying, is this really it? And then because of that, I've seen where the employer will say, okay, if this is how low people are ready to go, why are we ready to offer this much? Because of course, most employers will not tell you what they're going to offer you.
True.
It's
Women
during the
have to be
interview.
more confident.
So they're
to
confident,
demand
exactly.
their
They're
work.
confident in you about what you have. What are you bringing to the table? The value you bring. I've seen that women lack confidence. A lot of women are struggling when it comes to confidence.
Yes.
And that is what a lot of people use to capitalize on them.
An imposter syndrome.
Oh, that is it. That is another conversation for even another day because that is serious. You have to look yourself in the mirror. So I got to a point where you have to sit in the mirror and tell yourself who you are.
Yeah.
Be looking at yourself. Be confident enough to look yourself in the mirror and say, this is who I am, this is what I do. This is why I do what I do. This is the value I bring. Because if you don't even believe in it yourself, how do you expect the next person to do that?
Very true.
You must believe in who you are. I don't look at it that they need to give me a space because I'm a woman. It's because I deserve it. It's because I bring value. So I'm so excited about what we have said and what we have shared because we said a lot.
Yeah.
We've said a lot. We've said a whole lot. I'm really excited. So I would just want us to give closing statements, one-liners, and then we shut it down. So we can go this way.
Okay. I guess my one-liner would be give women a shot.
I like that. Give women a shot.
Because we can do it.
Yes, we can.
We can do it. So give us a shot.
Okay.
For me, it will be, when I heard about this year's theme, it's just struck a chord. Choose to challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge the bias. Don't be quiet. Challenge the bias. Challenge the norms. Challenge. Ask questions. Just choose to challenge. It might be from whatever you say that you then get them to pause and think and make a decision.
Okay.
I would say I choose to challenge everybody to be more human. To be more human. There was something I picked from, I think it was what you said, about during your break time, even though it's 1 hour, you're expected to sit on your seat and do whatever you call break there. But the world did not move out. We didn't step out of our houses for 1 month and we are still alive.
True.
We still ate.
True.
We still fed our kids, Let's be more human. We're not running anywhere. I think 2020 taught us that we're all not running anywhere at the end of the day. I choose to challenge the world to be more human and treat women with more respect and more dignity and be willing to sacrifice just to make a woman's life more easier.
Thank you so much.
So I choose to challenge and no longer take permission to accomplish my mission.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Set out, add value, and truly impact and change lives.
Thank you all so much. I'll just round up by saying that I choose to challenge. I choose to give myself permission. I choose to see women as true humans, not as second fiddle. And I just really would implore us as women to do our best to encourage other people. Every woman is another. I would say we are supporting each other, whether physically, virtually, emotionally. So let's reach out as much as we can. Reach out to people, reach out to those who you think are doing so well, because you never can tell people are struggling, right? Be there, make your business environment suitable for your female and your male employees, or your workers, your contractors, people you work with on a day-to-day basis. Make yourself available, and let it not just be a thing of today or a thing of this month, but let's make it a lifestyle. Let's make it a lifestyle, and I look forward to winning with each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming to this taping. It's been exciting.
Yes.
Thank you so much.